Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, they have a hunger for human flesh. But they're not zombies. No, they are full-fledged aware humans. You know what that makes them? Tonight's movie, Cannibal Apocalypse.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Yes, a year that is going to be full of cuts, guts, and the occasional sluts. Anyways, tonight, we dive into a movie that I guess is technically in the realm of the cannibal movie, starring a Mr. John Saxon, who I have wonderfully enjoyed in many films throughout the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. I mean, not just this year, but years past. Anyways, tonight, the movie we are going to watch, the review is Cannibal Apocalypse. Cannibal Apocalypse. So what is this movie about? Well, it is about Norman here, who was in Vietnam, and he was leading a rescue mission where he rescues two POWs. One of them was a hometown friend of his, and for some reason, those two POWs are cannibals. Yeah, I know some Vietnamese person was set on fire during the raid and falls into their pit, or sort of maybe dragged into the pit by the two individuals, and they start to eat her up. Yeah. So anyways, he gets bit, and oh, wait, we wake up. Wait, was it just a dream? Was it just a nightmare? I don't know, but he seems to have some strange urges, especially around red and bloody meat, and also his young neighbor girl, who seems to be really attracted to him. Anyways, lo and behold, he gets a call from that very friend that he saved back in Vietnam, and he wants to have drinks. Of course, he mentions being saved, and that freaks Norman out, and so newly released from the insane asylum, his friend gets into a little kerfuffle with a street gang, ends up going to a movie, and while at the movie, a couple near him start going at it hot and heavy, and of course exposed flesh just sort of gets that itch that he needs to scratch, and he takes a big chunk out of her, and of course he runs away out of the movie theater, and then comes face to face with that gang again, but this time he ain't taking no nonsense from them. Ends up going into like a store, or getting chased into a store, but this store has got guns and ammo, so he starts to take some of them out. The police show up, and of course that's where Norman is pulled in, because he knows the guy, so the police use him to get him out successfully. What we found out is that he and the other POW were both in this program in the mental institution where they were to be cured of their need to eat human flesh. Well, it didn't seem to work. And also, very, very strangely, anyone they attack and bite that they don't just outright super kill ends up becoming cannibals themselves. So it's almost like a zombie movie in a way, except they're still fully cognizant. But they definitely need to eat human flesh for some reason. And of course they intrinsically, I guess, know who else are cannibals, so they don't attack them, I guess. Anyways, so it's kind of up to the police to stop the cannibal menace before it spreads out of control. So, let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. There is a lot of death in this movie, but a lot of it is gunplay. But there is some really nice, gruesome set pieces in there. There is someone gets a hole blown through him, and it's nice and nasty. We do get deoculation and a lot of throat ripping and a lot of bloody scenes and a really nasty scene involving kind of like cutting up someone because, you know, we gotta feed, right? Anyways, so yeah, 4 out of 5. Shock value, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 just because there is some shocking content in here. It's just not a lot of it and not super heavy impact. But still going to give it 1 out of 5. Moving on to plot. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. This is definitely a hybrid cannibal / zombie film, but it also is sort of like an allegory about, you know, the war and coming back home and trying to rejoin society and the trauma of war. So it's definitely layered. I think that it does get a little muddled in the movie and is not very even. The flow of the movie is kind of up, down, up, down, up, down. And so, yeah, it doesn't have like the best pacing and can be kind of slow at times, but definitely unique and pretty original take on, I guess you would say, cannibal zombie-like stuff. Definitely not as like over the top as a movie like Nightmare City, but still interesting and unique. So 3 out of 5. Moving on to acting, I am going to give this a 3 out of 5. Also, mainly on, well, John Saxon being John Saxon, and he's just awesome. But also the guy who plays the head of the police. His performance is wonderful, and I just like the way he talks and his dialogue and his delivery. It's really great. It adds to the movie, and it adds fun to the movie also. And, so, everyone else, okay. I think, the guys who play the POWs, their acting job's a bit hammy, a bit over much, you know. We need you down to like 6 or 7, but you're like now like up in 9 or 10 range. I don't know. But yeah, overall, 3 out of 5, very solid. Nudity, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5. Very brief, maybe 0.5 would have been more accurate, but I don't know. I'll give it a 1 out of 5. We get the brief shot during the makeout session in the movie theater, and a brief shot of a victim of fire and then cannibalism. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You have ample opportunity for more, but yeah, not a whole lot. 1 out of 5. Moving on to enjoyment factor, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. It would have been up there higher if it was more fast-paced and didn't kind of get a little monotonous toward the middle. It does take a little bit to get going too. So I mean, it's just kind of uneven, but like toward the end, we do get a lot more stuff happening, and it's very interesting and fun. It's just a little weak on certain points, but still very interesting, very unique. Once again, you know, very unique, which is kind of redundant in a way, but it is an interesting, fun little gory, I would say cannibal movie. I always kind of want to say zombie in a way, but it's not zombies, but it's strange, and yeah, I like it. The ending is kind of neat, even though I did sort of like call it. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. 3 out of 5. My overall impression of the movie is a 2.5 out of 5. A lot of times in cannibal movies, the violence and the gore and the shock value are so ratcheted up high, I guess you could easily call it 6 out of 5 in even both of those, that if you compare it to other cannibal movies, it pales in those aspects. If you compare it to other zombie movies, it almost exists in its own little world. So it's hard to say, in comparison to these other movies, because it's quite different. But the thing is that, yes, the pacing is not very good. It has a unique story with decent acting, some great special effects, but overall, it needs a little more punch in certain areas, and it needs to kind of speed itself up. So in the end, yeah, I give it an average score for my overall impression, 2.5 out of 5, which, by the way, averages out to 2.5 out of 5, which is pretty solid for averages. So there you have it, Cannibal Apocalypse. We don't get to see the apocalypse, but it's implied that the apocalypse happens at the end of the movie. Anyways, not implied. We're going to infer that the apocalypse is probably going to happen based on the events of the movie. But there's no real apocalypse going on. So, anyways, spoiler alert, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, there you have it. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? Do you really like me? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Whatever. No one's going to comment. Well, anyways, do all the YouTube stuff. Subscribe, yada, yada. As if. Anyways, but thanks again for watching another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And remember to stay scary, internet. And also remember, if you're in an asylum and you're dealing with like cannibalistic type guys, you would think that, I don't know, the Hannibal Lecter mouth guard would be standard operating procedure. I'm just saying, there's a lot of exposed flesh and skin on the body, especially if you don't wear any like long sleeves or, you're just wearing a skirt, I'm just saying, precautions, just cover that shit up because, they're biting. The biting. Anyways, yeah.